Greetings, Grace Covenant, on this first Friday in December, on this first Friday in Advent, as we draw to a close this first week of Advent. We lit the first candle on Sunday, the candle of hope, and that has been our focus. And if you read the devotionals, if you look at the literature and the scripture from the first week of Advent, there's all this apocalyptic end of times, everything being horrible, and yet in the midst of it we talk about hope. And I've just been thinking so much about what's been going on in our world this week and in the weeks leading up to Advent, and how I know at times it must seem hopeless for all of us. And so what does it mean in the midst of circumstances that seem hopeless to have hope? When we look at where our Supreme Court is in dealing with women's rights and their bodies, when we look at some of the recent court judgments, when we consider the new variant of the COVID virus, when we hear about another school shooting, and sometimes we just feel like, what can we do? We just maybe even want to throw up our hands. But it is into that kind of world, and it is that kind of world that needs hope. And as I was reflecting on what that means, and hope is not that calligraphy scripted piece of shiplap that you buy at Home Goods and put on your mantle. It's just not. Hope is really holding on and trusting in the midst of all the bad stuff that's happening. Even the stuff in our personal lives that may be pulling us down, struggling with relationships, struggling with health issues, and again, continuing to just try to find our way in this crazy world where it just doesn't seem right. But it's at that point when there's total frustration and total lack of knowing what to do that I think it's most important for hope to come into play. And one of the images that I have thought of recently that I think helps me think about this sort of apocalyptic, catastrophic end of everything and how hope intervenes comes from one of the last scenes in Lord of the Rings, when Frodo is sitting at the foot of the mountain and he is distraught, he is weak, he has no ability to go on, and he says, I can't even remember the taste of strawberries. And he's essentially giving up. And then Sam says to him, well, I may not can carry the ring, but I can carry you. And that to me is the essence of hope. That in the midst of that, hope carries us to the end and gets us where we need to be. So in the midst of all that is dark in our world, in this country, in our personal lives, in the daily struggles we have, I pray that hope will be the thing that carries you and sustains you. And as we continue to go through this time of Advent, we learn what it means to wait. We learn what it means to hope. And the beauty of this story is we know the ending. There is a Messiah. There is someone who empowers us to be transformative in this world. And so then part of that hope then becomes us in this world, spreading that transformation, carrying a broken world to a better place. So live into hope, Grace Covenant. Thanks be to God.